Welcome Freedom Hero! Today you will discover what F.R.E.D has to do with your lead generation. I know you might be thinking, who is F.R.E.D? Well, F.R.E.D is not a real person. It is a formula that is a fundamental element of every area of your lead generation. So stick with me till the end of this episode and you will find out how it will help you to get more leads, better leads, and a lot more other things. My name is István with the show and this is the 47 Marketing Show. The first time I heard about F.R.E.D is, or read about F.R.E.D actually, is from the Copywriting Secrets book. It's a really amazing book. And secret number 8 is about meet F.R.E.D, your ideal customers. In previous episodes, I already talked about how to find your niche and how to define it, your target audience. The reason why I wanted to do another episode is because when I read this chapter, then I realized that this is the best, most simple explanation how you can define your niche, and it's just really amazing. So the first thing, why you need to define your niche, in case you forget it or you don't know. Niche basically is a fundamental element of every area of your lead generation. Everything, driving traffic, basically capturing leads, warming up leads, qualifying them, following up with them, everything in your lead generation builds upon that you know your niche and target audience very well. Does it make sense? Okay, how to define your niche? There are two parts in this area, how to defining your niche: psychographics and demographics. Basically, the psychographics is what your niche is thinking about, what are their motivations, their attitude, their problems, and so on. And the demographics element is the age, where they live, what's their gender, and so on. These two things builds up on each other. Psychographics is the first thing that you need to define, and basically the demographics is the fine-tuning the psychographics with it. And there's one more thing that is really important about narrowing your niche. Narrowing down your niche to 3 levels. Usually when you start defining your niche, the first thing that pops into your mind is a really wide niche. Let me explain to you. Let me give you a couple of examples on basically the 3 levels: niche, sub-niche, and micro-niche. And let me give you examples of all of these, and it will make sense why narrowing is so important. So for example, if your niche is property, people in the property industry, if you think about it, you can realize that in a property, anybody who's doing property related things, that really different sub niches in there. There are some people who invest into properties. There are other people who build properties. There are estate agents. There are homeowners, and so on. There are many different sub niches, and all these sub niches, all these categories, have different problems, roadblocks, and different things on their mind, different results. They want different results, and talking to all of these niches at the same time, all of these sub niches at the same time, is not working, because anything that you are addressing problems of the investors, the homeowner is not going to relate to it, or the other category is not going to relate to it. So having so many categories, trying to talk to so many categories, so many sub niches at the same time is not working, because your message is basically not connecting with any of them or just one of them. And even if in the sub niches, for example, the property investors, if you pick an area, or if you pick a micro niche in the sub niche, for example, or see that like in the property investors sub niche, there are many micro niches. For example, there are investors who invest into commercial properties. There are investors who invest into residential properties. There are investors who buy properties, they refurbish it, and they resell it for profit. And there are the ones who invest into properties to keep it and rent it out to have cash flow from it. Does it make sense that there are so many sub niches? All of these have different problems, different roadblocks, and trying to talk to all of these at the same time is not going to work. Your message is going to either not connect to any of them or just connect to one of them. So many different things in it. But if you pick like one of them, for example, property flippers who buy properties, refurbish it, and sell it a bit later for profit, then that micro niche, the property flippers, in that group of people have similar problems or same problems, have same questions, same roadblocks, same results they want. So when you are actually creating videos to them, or you are talking to them, or you're sending them an email to them, you can talk to them directly, and it's going to connect. Your message is going to connect with them directly. It's going to be easier to generate leads from that group. That way, it's going to be easier to sell to them. Does this make sense? Okay, how to define your avatar. The first thing, why to define your avatar? Because you might be selling to a million people, but always one person at a time. Even if it comes to your videos, your emails, your blog posts, and so on, they are always one person is watching at a time, one person is reading your content at a time, not a crowd, just one person. And that's why you need to define an avatar, so you can talk to that person, your ideal customer, your avatar. It helps to create your videos, write your sales letters, write your emails. And when it comes to your avatar, the first thing to define is the name, a name of your avatar. For example, Fred the property flipper. You can choose any type of name that you want to. Just have a name for this imaginary person, for this avatar, and just put after it the micro niche that helps you define. You put your mind right away into that mindset, like yes, when you're writing an email or creating a video, I'm talking to Fred the property flipper, or whatever your avatar's name. And if you're a visual person, you can even find an image of that person. So you just go to Google and Google it, like Fred the property investor, or your name of or basically the name of your avatar, and just find an image that you imagine that person looks like, and all that the name and that image can help you to actually, when you are creating your content and creating your copies and videos, that you are like, oh, I'm talking to that person, to imagine that person there, because remember, only one person at a time going to watch your content, see your landing page, and so on. Okay, next thing, the 4 most important things when you're defining your niche. When I read this chapter from the Copywriting Secrets, that was the point when I realized, like, this is the best and most simple explanation how to define your niche, your target audience, and avatar. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. So every one of the people from your target audience, they have 4 things in their mind: problems. They have questions, they have roadblocks, and they have results. They want to have results. So basically, their problems, their questions, their roadblocks are stopping them to reach their results, and they've completely tuned into these 4 things. That's all they have in their mind: their problems, their questions, their roadblocks, and the results they want. Just imagine that conversation is going in their mind consistently. Only that one conversation. If you want to enter into that conversation, you have to talk about their problems, their questions, the roadblocks they have, the results they want, and that's how you can grab their attention and make them listen. If you are actually trying to talk to them about something else, they're not gonna listen. On their mind, remember, they have problems, questions, roadblocks, and results they want. That's all that in their minds. If you try to talk about anything else, they're not gonna listen. And this is if you are like basically talking about those things, it's going to help you with every area of your lead generation, And when you're defining your niche, your target audience, your avatar based on their problems, their questions, their roadblocks, and the results they want. Does it make sense? Okay. So how to discover your niche is problems, questions, roadblocks, and results. Is a couple of ideas where you can discover these things. You can have live conversations with them, talk to them one by one, and find out more about them. You can look at yourself. Most of the times we were a member of our niche. You can go to forums, check out answers, questions there. You can find out information on your help desk if you have one. You can check out popular products related to your area, videos, ebooks, books, and you can find out problems, questions, roadblocks, results there. You can go to answer sites. You can check out surveys. Surveys that you do or other people did, and you can go to social media sites. That's a really amazing place to discover your niches, problems, questions, roadblocks, and results. Can you see how everything what we talked about in this episode, that will help you to define your niche, your target audience, your avatars in details. And that's all together will help you to get more leads, or get better leads, and a lot of other things and in your lead generation. Okay, this was a quick summary of one of the secrets from the Copywriting Secrets book. Besides defining your niche, there are a lot of other amazing things in this book, and it's worth reading it. Either you write your own copies or someone else does that for you. I will leave a link to this book in the description. Okay, one last thing before we go. If you want to ignite your automated lead generation in as little as 15 days without cold calling, then visit 47funnelsecrets.com for a proven process. You can find that link in the description as well. Thank you for staying till the end of this episode. My name is István Bújra Show, and see you in the next one.